Good evening, everyone. We have just waiting for a couple of minutes for some more people to come online. And we've got a few people announcing where they're from already. So we've got Olivia from Les Verdi. We've got Jess from Three River Girl Guides. And that's everyone so far. So we might just wait for another minute until we see if anyone else is coming online. Alice from Three River. Okay, so we might get started, and if there's any more late attendees, we will just add them in as we go. And we also welcome Ren from South Perth Girl Guides. I think everyone knows us already, but just in case you don't, my name is Tammy, or my guides call me Cuddle Pie. I'm based down here in Albany, and I just want to acknowledge the traditional owners on the land in which I'm meeting today, which is the Noongar Menang people. And I'm lucky enough that our Girl Guide hall's actually on recognised Noongar country, and we've been lucky enough to name 2 of our guide units after some local Noongar areas. So it's a big, important deal for us. But I'm going to handball to Robynne. Robynne, do you want me to do the opening thought before we handball over to you?
Yes, that's probably a good idea.
Okay, so the opening thought for this week is another one from Robert Baden-Powell. And it says, happiness doesn't come from being rich, nor merely from being successful in your career, nor by self-indulgence. One step towards happiness is to make yourself healthy and strong while you are this says boy, but for us girl, so that you can be useful and so you can enjoy life when you are an adult. So there's our opening for today. And I'm going to handle to Robynne, Dolphin, sorry, and she's going to get us using our avocado on our faces, which sounds really, really interesting. Over to you, Robynne.
Right, thanks, Tammy. Let me just tell my children to be quiet now. I've unmuted myself. So tonight we're talking all about skin. This is something that I do for a living usually. Unfortunately, at the moment with COVID-19, my beauty salon is closed, but we specialise in skin. So I've brought along a couple of things. So I thought we'd start by talking about the importance of, particularly going into the teenage years, of looking after your skin correctly. So the first thing is to wash it twice a day. When I say wash, you want to use something nice and gentle that's not going to strip off what's called the acid mantle. So the acid mantle is a protective layer of fats and oils, which is called sebums and ceramides, and they actually protect your skin from bacteria, viruses, fungi, everything that's floating in the air, pollution. So it is really important to keep your skin clean, but not to take that acid mantle off, which protects it. So usually you use something, a cleanser. So I've just brought one that I use at work. It's just called Gentle Antioxidant Cleanser. So you'd use this morning and night, just to make sure your skin's nice and clean. There's thousands of brands on the market. The things that you're looking for is it's not super foamy, because super foamy usually means it's stripping your skin of the oils. So you want something that's nice and gentle. There's probably loads of brands that I've never even heard of that most girls use, because it's a different age bracket to what I am in. So, you know, it's better to be doing something than not washing your face correctly. So if you don't wash your face correctly, some of the problems that you can have is that you start to get pores can block up. So they'll block up with the natural oils that come out of your skin. And I forgot to bring my little diagram thing home from work to show everybody. But basically, pores will get blocked, which then become blackheads. They can get bacteria in them, which then becomes what you know as a whitehead. And basically that, it's called P. acne bacteria. So pretty much what it does is it's on your skin, and then it goes in, it has a bit of a party in that pore, and then it multiplies and multiplies and multiplies, and that's how you get the pussy pimple usually. So you want to make sure that you keep the skin clean but not strip it. The next thing, and I didn't bring a commercial one with me today because we're going to make some, is to use a scrub. The things with a scrub are not to have something that's too abrasive, once again, that's going to strip that acid mantle. A useless piece of information about the acid mantle is it takes 8 to 10 hours to recover. So if you've stripped it off and then you go out, and particularly if you live in a big city, or I don't know, you're working down the cow paddocks and there's bacteria and fungi and all sorts of stuff in the grasses and wherever you happen to be, that will get into your skin and cause you irritations. You can also get irritations from products with too many chemicals. So chemicals are another pet hate of mine. So try and find things that are low in chemicals. Usually you do need a chemical preservative in there, otherwise you don't get a very long shelf life. So it's a bit of an issue, you know, you can buy something without preservatives in it, but it'll only keep a week or two in your fridge. So if you want... Is
that like the term paraben free? Is that something they should look for? Is that the...
Parabens are a bit of an interesting one. There was a time where everybody went, oh, parabens are really bad, they're really bad. But certain parabens are okay, but a large percentage of them are bad. So if you're looking for a product, when you look on the ingredients list, you want something that's not got too many really, really long words, usually. And you can go in and look each item up. There are some websites where you can go and have a look, because some of the chemicals clog skin up. There's also a lot with things called parfums, which is basically a manufactured perfume. That's really not great for your skin either. Does make it smell really nice, but not so good for your skin. Essential oils are fantastic smelling, but if you're out in the sun, there's certain ones that will cause your skin to be more sensitive to the sun, and then you'll get burns from it. So you just have to be a little bit careful about essential oils as well. So particularly the citrusy type ones can have some effect there. So with your scrubs, I've got 2 that we're going to talk about today. Oh, 3, sorry. So we've got a nourishing one, a gentle one, and a hydration one. And then we're going to also talk about some body scrubs. Body scrubs are usually quite a bit coarser because the skin on the body is quite different to the skin on the face. And so you don't want to use anything that's for your body on your face, but you can use face stuff on your body. So today we're going to do the Cocoa Dream Hydration Mask, but we will also, I will talk through a scrub as well. So a typical scrub, you just want something gentle and you're just going to massage it, leave it for a couple of minutes and then rinse off with just warm water, not hot water, not cold water. So you can usually use just plain old oats, so your oats that you just buy at the supermarket. You want to grind them up nice and finely. I know Tammy's got a Thermomix, I've got a Bellini. So you just put it in there, whiz it up until it's nice and fine, and then you can just put it on your face. I am going to recommend you do this in the bathroom, either over the sink or in the bath, because otherwise your parents will get a bit annoyed because you've got food all over the floor and everywhere, because it is a bit messy.
So a blender will do the same job, girls. So if you don't have a fancy Bellini or a Thermomix, a good old blender or a coffee grinder will still grind it nice and fine for you as well.
Yeah, or probably even one of those, you know, those fruit smoothie blendery things, they would work as well. So we're going to start off, it's called the Cocoa Dream Hydration Mask. And so this is where, I'm just going to have to move my screen so you can see what I'm doing. So you're going to cut up your avocado just in half. And it does say 1/4 of an avocado, but my avocados are quite small, so I might use a half. And try and choose a bowl with a lid, because any leftovers you can put into the fridge and use within a week usually. So, or give it to your mum or sister or granny or someone. So you're going to want to just mash that up. So if you've got a hard one, it'll just be a little bit harder to mash. Now, if anybody's got any questions, put them in the chat box and Tammy will read them out to me. Hopefully.
Go away. So the avocado, will it change colour like it will when you know, you're doing a salad?
Sort of just like mashed. Bits of yellow, bits of green. And into that, you're going to mix a tablespoon of cocoa powder. Hopefully I've got enough left after those yummy mug cakes last week.
It's almost going to be edible. You know, you think of chocolate mousse made with avocado, it's all edible yummies that are going into this face mask.
It is all edible completely. And then we're going to have 1 spoon of honey. So this is why I said maybe do it in the bathroom so you don't spill it all over everything. When you put it on, it will be sticky.
So let us know if you're making this along with us at home.
And I do have a volunteer who's going to come over here in a moment, and I will cleanse their face so you can see sort of what you need to do. If you've sort of not done much with skin, that's no problems. Oops, I'm making a bit of a mess of this. So very gently, you just have to mash it all together. And yes, you could eat it. It does smell a bit delicious, doesn't it?
I'm thinking it almost looks like chocolate mousse. Chocolate.
I think I'm going to have a taste of it, you know.
What do you girls think so far? Is anyone making it at home with us?
So that's sort of mine. It's nice chocolatey colour. If you didn't have cocoa, you could use hot chocolate. Just cocoa is a bit more of a pure form to use. So I'll get my model over here. So if she comes over, Kara, I'm going to get her to put a headband on. So that's also a good thing to have handy, some sort of headband. So I'll get her to do that while I keep stirring.
And while Robynne does that, we welcome Janice back again tonight. Welcome, Janice. We're just mixing up our face mask. So we've got the avocado, the honey, and the cocoa in so far. And it looks edible, I think. We're just about to see it in use. So if you're making this along with us at home, make sure you share in the chat box and let us know you're doing it. Or if you're going to wait and give it a go afterwards when you can have free reign in the kitchen and the bathroom. As Robynne says, it can make a little bit of a mess.
So what I've just done is filled up a bowl with water, and I've just gone and got my face washer, flannel, whatever you call it. There are other things on the market called skin chamois, which I absolutely love. But I once again left that at work as well. So I'm just going to use a flannel. The main thing is that when you wash your face, each time you either use a new flannel or you've rinsed it out and you've got to hang it up to dry. If you leave it so it's doesn't dry properly and it stays in a damp environment, you will get mold, and the last thing you really want is mold on your face. Even though you can't see it, it will still irritate the skin. So I've got my little helper here, and so I'm going to do a cleanse. So I'm just making my fingers a little bit wet, adding some cleanser. Normally I do this with the person laying on the bed. So if I poke her in the eye, I can't see. I'm just going to do a few.
If you ever had a facial, it is very relaxing. So Robynne's giving us all the secrets of that.
So just gentle circles. If I'd been really clever, I would have gone to the salon to run tonight, and then she could have laid on the bed.
More realistic at home.
But anyway. And so I've used sort of warm water, but not hot. Hot water is actually not great for your skin. It causes vasodilation of the capillaries, which means that the blood goes to the surface. And if you do that too many times, you do tend to end up getting a bit sensitised skin from it.
How does that feel, Makira? Does it feel really nice so far? Yep. Well, thank you for being our model tonight.
She may need to change her top after. So then with your mask, it's fluffy. It's fluffy.
What kind of consistency does it end up being? Is it more like a cream, or is it?
It's got lumpy bits in it. So you're just going to avoid the eyes and the mouth, although it doesn't really matter, it's the mouth because it is all edible foods.
How does it feel, Makira?
Sorry, what was that?
I was asking Makira how it feels.
Good.
Good? Is it cold? No?
Stings your face.
Does it?
Yes.
Makira's got super sensitive skin, and she's just said it stings a bit. So
Same. So I'm always very cautious with face things.
I look like I fell in the dirt.
Did you hear that? She looks like she fell in the dirt.
Well, they do call it a mud mask sometimes for a reason, so.
It kind of reminds me of how she looked after Enduro, to be honest.
Looking very stylish there. I'm glad it's chocolate flavoured though.
Where's yours? Come on.
I couldn't do two things at once.
I know.
I'll give it a go afterwards, I think. And we've had Ren comment that she needs to get some avocado. She's going to give it a go tomorrow night.
I'm going to try it, yeah.
I have my avocado ready. Oh, it's a bit soft.
And then you're just going to leave that on for about 15 minutes.
Will it peel off?
No, it won't peel off. It will wash off. I've got a bit on your shirt. There you go.
You make yourself a really nice cup of tea or a hot chocolate. You sit down with your favourite book or a TV series.
Show Dad.
Yeah, go and show Dad.
So what's it doing over that 15 minutes, Robynne?
What's that, sorry?
What's it doing to your skin over that 15 minutes?
That one, you've got the avocado, which has fantastic oils in it. It's got really good oils that are great for the skin. And I really like avocados and olives and jojoba, all those sorts of nourishing oils are all really good for the skin. Cocoa is more probably for the smell rather than anything.
And I guess it's that colour, because the avocado would have changed colour once the oxygen got to it anyway, so it kind of makes it more...
yeah, and the honey has a sort of a tightening, detoxifying effect on it. So I've got plenty left, which I could maybe make, you know what, I reckon it'd make a really nice sandwich of some sort. Avocado, honey and...
It's gone. It's
so
like a chocolate butter, really, isn't it?
it is. So I'm going to put the lid on. And like I said, make sure you keep your leftovers in the fridge, otherwise they will go off because they are.
How long will it keep for, Robynne?
Sorry?
How long will it keep for?
Probably a week. I wouldn't use it after a week.
And is a mask something you should use every day? Is it something you should use once a week? What's the recommendation?
That's a good question. Probably once a week. You could use it twice if you have enough time, and it depends on the type of mask. So this is a nourishing one, so you could use this one twice a week. But some of them have things called alpha hydroxy acids, beta hydroxy acids. When you're using those sorts of things, you really want to ask someone that knows what they're doing as to whether once a week, twice a week. So it depends on the type of skin. If it was a really acne skin, then I would say to someone use it twice a week. If it wasn't, then it might be once a week. So it depends on the type of skin. Also depends a huge amount on the amount of water people drink and the diet. So people don't realise, but water has a really big effect in about the fourth layer down. So there's 6 layers of what's called the epidermis, and then you've got the dermis, and then you've got your subcutaneous layer. So your subcutaneous layer is just all sort of fatty tissue. Your dermis is where all your blood vessels lie, and the epidermis is where the main cell in your skin is called a keratinocyte, and that undergoes different changes at different levels. So at the 4th level, if you haven't drunk enough water, it doesn't create enough of a certain enzyme, and so then you tend to get clumping of dead skin cells, or not dead. So think of a grape, and as it goes up through the skin, it becomes more like a sultana. So it's nice and plump to begin with, but if that doesn't get the enzyme, then what happens is it won't shed properly, and you don't get osmosis of products in and out of the cell properly. So you tend to get a bit of clumping, and that can cause pimples and issues. It also, as you get older, it gives you that sort of dull grey look. You know, when you look at someone, they look a bit dull. That's usually because they're not drinking enough water.
There we go, girls. Number 1 beauty tip, drink lots of water.
So sort of, I don't know, 1.5 litres a day to 2 litres in between there. Depends on temperature. Are you sitting at a desk? Are you running around? You know, all those sorts of things. So water is a very important thing. The other super important thing with skins is they need what's called essential fatty acids. So this is omega 3, 6 and 9, mostly 3 and 6. So you can buy certain fish oil capsules or flaxseed oil, and you should be having that in your diet every single day, because that lubricates the membrane of the cell. So it allows for better osmosis. And people who get eczema, because Makara is a really eczema prone person, if she doesn't have a fish oil, then it allows for that inflammation to happen to cause the eczema. So the dog has just discovered it likes the mask. Makara laughing. So yeah, so very important for your essential fatty acids. I don't like fish oil personally. I don't like the smell of it. So I take flaxseed oil and I just pour it straight on my breakfast cereal or in my glass of juice. So there are options. If you're vegan, you can use flaxseed oil, those sorts of things. So while we're waiting for our mask, we might make our body scrub. So with your, yes, and the body scrub is to be used in the bathroom, otherwise it's a huge mess. So I've got 2 recipes, so you can either use half a cup of brown sugar or half a cup of sea salt. I've gone with brown sugar because it was the easiest thing to get out my cupboard.
Would it make a difference to the kind of scrub if you use the salt, or is it just more the abrasiveness that you're getting from the material?
It is more the abrasiveness. Also, if you tend to suffer from broken skin, such as, say, eczema, the salt will sting. So, you're just going to put, very good at this.
There's our sugar.
So half a cup into my container, and then I'm also going to use half a cup of oil. Like I said, I really like just plain old olive oil. It's cheap. We've all got it in our cupboards because we cook with it. The dog's chasing Makira around the house.
Whereas I use rice bran oil. Could you use that instead?
Use rice bran oil. You could use grapeseed oil. I've actually in the salon massaged with grapeseed oil for a while. It's another nice one. So pretty much any of the oils will do. So if you cook with rice bran oil and that's what you've got, then that's what I would use. So you're just going to mix that together.
Yeah. That's really cool. And you've got here essential oils, so would you use them or not usually?
You certainly can. What I'm going to do, because I haven't got my essential oils handy, they're still at work, and because I'm not at work working, I don't always remember to bring stuff, remember to go and collect stuff. So I'm actually going to put in some mint essence.
Like cooking, if you're making like chocolate peppermints or something.
Yeah, and so I might put a bit of cocoa in to make it into like a chocolate mint smell. So I'm just going to grab that out of the cupboard.
I do have to say the most exciting thing about all the Zoom things I've been doing lately is you get to see a little glimpse of everyone's house as we experience these Zoom calls, which has been interesting. No, you kind of get a little glimpse in, like looking through someone's window at everyone's kitchens or their lounge rooms, or I often have that big bookshelf behind me on these calls, so it's quite cool. We got to see Robynne's pantry, which is really well organised. I have to compliment you, Robynne.
Yeah, I'll give you all a good look because I spent 7 hours. So that's why my pantry is nice and neat, because I've been busy doing jobs like that. So I'm just not gonna measure. I'm just gonna pour in some cocoa powder.
A bit of a shake. Yep.
Just it's probably half a tablespoon, and go easy on your essential oils. You only need a couple of drops, otherwise they're really strong and it can be a bit overpowering.
How's the mask feeling now, Makira?
Still hurts a little.
A bit tingly. That's probably the honey in it.
It's stinging my face.
Does it feel really tight?
Does it feel tight? No.
Is anyone else having a go at home? Wants to share how their mask is going?
Okay. So that's kind of consistency we've got, which is probably a little bit runnier than I normally.
So would you add more sugar in if that's the case to make it less runny?
You could do. I would just, I would still use this. I'd just be careful I don't spill it everywhere, because when it's a bit runny, it just tends to flick up the walls and things a bit more.
What does it smell like? Does it smell nice and minty?
Yeah, very nice and minty. And so with a scrub, I'm just going to demonstrate on my hand. You're just going to gently massage it into the skin, as you can see there. And the actual massaging motion is what takes any old dry skin off. So
Jess
really,
is writing down the recipe for tomorrow. So Jess, the ingredients were on the Facebook page and also on the blog, and we'll also send out the recipes through the blog as well. So watch the blog if you can't keep up with us on the thing. How's that feeling, Robynne?
it still feels really gritty, and that won't go until I add the water, and it will dissolve it. And so I'm just going to rinse it off with warm water.
So the sugar in it is removing all the dead skin cells from your hands?
It does. It takes off any rough skin.
So it'd be really good before, like, you shave your legs and things like that. Is that what kind of what you can use it for as well?
I wouldn't use it straight before you shave your legs because you'll probably end up with some sort of irritation. So you might be able to see my hands are all nice and shiny from the oil still on it.
Yeah.
And then I'll just dry them. So the oil will stay on your skin until you use some sort of soap on it. So it'll pretty much stay there the whole time. And so these scrubs are best used obviously in the shower, so that all the mess is in the shower rather than all over the bathroom. Like you just asked me before, I probably wouldn't do any scrubs before shaving. I would do it the day before, or, you know, if you're shaving at night, do it in the morning. Just because often shaving is really irritable for the skin, and the skin doesn't really like it. And so if you've already given it a Kira's just said, oh, that feels nice. So I probably would do them as two separate things. And the same with waxing. We don't normally recommend people do scrubs and things just before waxing because we don't want irritation happening. So I'm just going to wash this off from the carer.
Does it come off easy?
No.
Is it stuck on my head forever?
Yep, stuck on her head forever.
No.
So a good rough flannel probably does a better job in this case.
Yeah.
Coming off, we can see you underneath that. Looks like you got, you know, war paint on.
It does, doesn't it?
Yeah. How's it feeling now it's coming off, Makira?
Better.
Yeah, honey's got antimicrobial and antibacterial properties, so that can sometimes be, if you've got super sensitive skin, that would be the product that irritates it.
Aha. So how long would the brown sugar scrub last for? Is it something that you need to store in the fridge and you can keep using, or is it you got to throw away afterwards? What's the...
You can store that in the fridge, and because it's got oil in it, it will preserve it, and you probably get a few months out of it.
I like the keep.
So you probably could use it for a couple of months because the oil will preserve it. But having said that, I'm not sure if everyone noticed, I actually poured it onto my hand rather than scooping out of it, because often you've got bacteria on your hands, as we've all learnt with COVID-19 and hand washing. But any bacteria on your hand, when you touch something, will go into that, and that will cause issues. So when Makira comes back, I'm going to put a moisturiser on her. Very important that you do use a moisturiser to help the skin. What it does is it protects the skin and nourishes the skin. So for Makira, because she's young, I use this one here called O Cosmetics Mineral Pro. This is also an SPF 30, and I'll explain why I use this particular one. It's got 20% zinc oxide in it, and zinc oxide heals damaged skin. So anyone with eczema, this is probably one of the few sun creams that they can use. So you're going to use it as a moisturiser.
And we're just welcoming Tia, who's just joined us. So Tia, if you want to share where you're from in the chat. We have made our face mask, and we've just washed that off our model. And we've also made our brown sugar and oil scrub. And now we're just moisturising afterwards. So we've learnt a lot about our skin tonight. That's all right, Tia from North Dianella. It's good to have you join us. The recipes and stuff we'll make sure are on the blog, but you've got the ingredients there. And they will keep, so if you make them up, you know, you can store it in the fridge and you can have a go, you know, maybe share it with mum or an older sister. Maybe your brothers will let you use it on them if you're lucky, depending on your brothers. Oh, don't you look very pretty now? All nice and clean. How does it feel, Kira?
Oh, I haven't rubbed that in properly. Like I was saying, anything with zinc oxide is fantastic with people who get acne or pimples as well, because it does heal the skin and it will heal them up much quicker. You can go to the bath. Oh, Makira wants to take some to try in the bath.
No worries. And we also welcome Kookaburra from North Dianella, who's joined us as well.
Are those all the big ones?
Yeah.
So any questions for Dolphin on the scrubs or on skincare while we've got her expertise available to us that we can answer for you? Or any questions if you're going to have a go at this tomorrow that you need a bit more information on, or something that you missed tonight, please do put it in the chat box and I can ask Robynne for you. And of course, don't forget afterwards to do all your dishes and tidy up your kitchen, and make sure you clean the bathroom up, because mum might be a bit upset. She goes in there and there's bits of face mask on the tap and stuck to the shower wall. So the ingredients list is on the blog, and we will get Sasha to add it to the instructions to the blog as well. So if you haven't got the guide blog, I will add that to the chat box for you in a moment, and then you can grab it off of there. So, any other handy tips that you want to share while we're...
Yeah, it was interesting when I was looking for recipes, because when I was younger, we would make our own face masks, and we would often use strawberry. Strawberry is quite acidic, so that does sometimes sting, but you can still, you could swap the avocado out for strawberry if you wanted to. You can sometimes use lemon juice, but it's quite high in acidity, so I tend to say avoid anything too high in acidity. The other thing is a lot of the old recipes you used to use egg white. Put egg white on your face and let it dry and then sort of peel it off. Well, that's now not really recommended, because they believe there's lots of bacteria in the egg white that could enter the skin. But obviously if you're doing it at your own home, you can test these things out as well. The main thing, like I said before, is don't strip your skin, particularly if you have acne skin, and I know this from having acne skin as a teenager. I've got some awful school photos with big welts all over my face. So you tend to want to strip it by using the harsh, you know, Clearasil, or what's that other one that's always on TV?
I don't know, I don't watch a lot of TV, so.
And neither do I, I've just lost it. It's a benzoyl peroxide anyway, so it's really drying for the skin, and it just creates this constant roundabout of, it clears it up, but as soon as you try to go off it, it comes back. So you've got to sort of really look at making sure you get your essential fatty acids, your amount of water you're drinking, also eating lots of good quality fruit, veggies, lots of leafy greens, minimise the really nice foods like your pastry. And actually chocolate isn't too bad. So apart from dark chocolate, it's obviously better than milk chocolate. but it doesn't have many chemicals in it. So chocolate's not too bad. It's more the, you know, your fried foods, your packets of chips, your processed foods with lots of processed nasty stuff in it.
We do have a question for you, Robyn. Janice wants to know if you have any peel-off mask recipes that you can share.
Well, no, they would have been the egg white ones, which now sort of people are saying to not go near them.
So they're looking for a peel-off mask to look at getting one from a shop rather than make a home one. Is that what you recommend? Yeah.
And the other thing I would say is don't go to Kmart and buy the $2 masks. They're full of nasty chemicals, and they're the ones that people have reactions to, and then it puts them off looking after their skin properly. If you're going to get a mask, try and invest in something a bit better quality. I'm not saying go out and buy the $100 mask. There's some that are $500.
You can tell I don't do much of this.
Anti-aging masks, you're looking around $400.
Wow.
So you usually, for sort of teenagers, you can find a good mask for around about the $25 mark. You don't have to go and buy the super expensive one, but it is worth going to a salon or someone that knows a bit about skin and will give you some guidance. There are some companies, I'm just trying to think, there was one that had this fabulous teenage pack, but because I don't do many teenage skins, I can't think what company it was now.
We have just been asked by Ren if you've got any brands that you recommend for teenage skin.
Well, I really like the O Cosmetics, and like I said, these two, the Gentle Antioxidant Cleanser and the Mineral Pro, that's your cleanser and your moisturiser and your SPF. So it's gentle, it is a bit expensive. Your cleanser's $52 and your Mineral Pro's $49, I think. But they do last a long time if you explain to the girls that you only need to use a small amount. It's not more on is better.
Yeah. So we've been asked where can you buy the O Cosmetics, and also what brands you recommend for older skin, asking for a friend.
O Cosmetics are fantastic for older skin because they do really strong retinols and vitamin C's and all the good things that skin needs. So they're fantastic they're designed in Australia by a lady who she designed it for Australian skins rather than a European brand that have a different climate to ours. So funnily enough, she is the niece of the lady who works in the chemist next to my shop. So she wandered in about 10 years ago and said, oh, I've got this brand you might be interested in. So that's one brand I really like. There's another brand called DMK, which it's an American brand, and he is a really interesting guy. He's in his 70s, but he's got a background in biomolecular chemistry. And I love their product, but they're very particular. They will only let one company in a small town have it, and we've already got two in Bunbury, so therefore I can't have it.
Can you buy the O Cosmetic one from most chemists, or does it tend to be a specialist shop like yours, or?
It's a beauty salon.
So if you want a similar brand, something like that, then it sounds like you'll need to go to your local beauty place when they reopen, which will hopefully be.
They're all able to sell the products to you. They're just not able to do waxing and treatments. Yeah. So, and there's lots of O Cosmetics. If most of the girls are in Perth, there's plenty of places. Otherwise, send a message somehow to me or to you, and I can tell you where they are or who. What's the closest. O Cosmetics do have a thing where you can put your postcode in and it will tell you your closest store as well. But there are other brands. I'm just trying to think. When I remember the names of the other brands, I might send them through to Sasha to stick in the blog as some ideas of brands, because I didn't come here to particularly sprout O Cosmetics. That just happens to be what we use. So
Ren has a question about Robynne and Field. Is it a pyramid selling scheme or the product's any good?
Pyramid selling, wouldn't use them on my skin.
There you go.
That goes for Arbonne, any of those products.
Olivia wants to know about Evelon. I hope that I pronounced that properly.
Can you
EVELOM.
I've not heard of it.
Sorry, Olivia, we can't answer that question. Any last questions for Robynne?
And I'll just explain with the pyramid type things, the reason they're just cheap ingredients, and they put a high price on them. For the same price, you can get a much better salon quality brand that would achieve much better results. So I'm not particularly saying don't buy that one, but there's just better out there.
So any last questions for Robynne? I don't know about you guys, but I've learned a lot about my skin, heaps more than I've ever learned, and I'm not one really that does masks or anything like that, so it's been a good learning product for me. And number one tip is drink lots and lots of water. Sorry, I've got animals at my feet. Any other questions or queries? So if you go back through the chat, there is a link to the blog where you can get the ingredients for tonight. And if you didn't make it tonight, you can make it at home. So Ren says, thanks so much. I'm going to make the mask. If you do make the mask and you, well, actually we can't do that, so ignore that. What can I say? So yeah, anything else now we got another question for you. Sorry, Robynne. Is it wrong to pop out blackheads? Oh, this is going to be a nice one.
Yes and no. If you're going to do it, you need to have a shower first, have the water nice and warm so that you open the pores of your skin, and you also need to make sure that your hands are completely clean, clear of any bacteria. Scrub under your nails, and you need to do it really gently, otherwise you will bruise the underneath of the skin. And so you don't always see a bruise, but it can cause damage underneath the skin, which can then play a bit of havoc down the track with collagen and elastin not holding up as well, and you tend to get some bumpy skin.
Is that the same with the blackhead remover tools that some companies sell?
So long as they're clean and you're gentle, they're fine. I think the main issue is that people don't have clean hands. So you can put on gloves if you like, but yeah, be very, very careful doing that.
There we go. We've learned lots and lots of things. So any last minute questions before we close for the night? Thank you, Robynne, for sharing your expertise for this. I've learned a lot, definitely. So we'll just give everyone a couple minutes to share they got any last minute questions.
And it's interesting, you don't think much about skin except that we've got it, but it's actually the largest organ of the body, and it is super fantastic at absorption. So for instance, like magnesium, which is a difficult mineral for us to absorb through the gut, often we struggle absorbing it because we don't have the other nutrients needed. If you put it on your skin, you'll absorb a much higher proportion of it. So when you're buying things for your skin, be aware that your skin is actually absorbing it and it's going into your body as well. So we sometimes forget about that. And, you know, I've been on courses for 5 days straight just about skin.
Wow.
So that's how much there is to know about skin.
There you go. I said, Robynne, thank you so much. I have learnt a lot.
You're welcome.
We will finish up tonight with another thought, and then we'll be back next week. We will make sure that we send, get out with the email on Monday with if you need to bring anything. I don't think we finalised next week yet, have we, Robynne?
Sorry, what's that?
I don't think we finalised next week at this point, but we will make sure we let you know if you need anything special. Thank you to all of those who have come back for another night. It was good to see some familiar names. my kitten's falling off my lap. And we'll say goodbye with a thought. Any last minute things before we do the thought, Robynne?
No, I think we've covered everything.
Oh, sorry, Janice has just asked who was on here. So I'm not sure if you can scroll back through, but we had on here, we had Olivia from Les Murdy, we had Jess from Three River Girl Guides, we had Alice from Three River Girl Guides, we also had on there Tia from North Dianella, Kookaburra from North Dianella, and have I missed anybody? I think that was everybody. Did I cover Olivia? Yes, I did. So yeah, that's everyone that was on there. Okay, so to close out, the quote for the end of the day, which I thought was kind of apt given we've been talking about sugar and salt and things like that. And again, it's from Robert Baden-Powell. And it says, life would pall if it were all sugar. Salt is bitter if taken by itself. When tasted as part of the dish, it savours the meat. Difficulties are the salt of life. I actually thought that was quite nice.
Very nice.
So thanks everyone for coming again, and we hope to see you all online again next week. So stay safe, stay well, and we'll see you all. Oh, you want to send us the quote? I can do that for you, Janice. I'll put it in the chat box just right now. Hang on, let me do that before I go. Oops. I hate it when you can't drive your own computer.
Maybe put it up on the blog as well.
Yeah, here we go. I'll put it in the chat panel right now. It didn't even work. I hate that. Computers and me are not getting along today. Oh, and I've got a kitten crawling up my leg. Ow. Right, I'll have another go, see if this works this time. Here we go. There you are. There's the quote. Okay, everyone, well, thank you very much. And Kitty says good night as well. And as Sash from Girl Guides is saying, make sure you copy that quote straight away because I'm about to end the meeting. So good night, everyone. Have a great week, and we'll see you next Thursday night. Bye, everyone. Thanks for coming. Thanks, Robynne, for everything.
You're welcome.